All right. Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark. And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. Saturday, not Sunday. Yes, we are going live today. I have a feeling I might be in for a long weekend. I feel like I haven't had a full week of work since like 2 weeks ago, and then Thanksgiving. I live in the Northeast, in the northeast corner of the state that I live in, Pennsylvania, and they're calling for. We were supposed to get snow showers a few days ago because they were watching a coastal storm. And what it turned into was within the last 18 hours, prediction for snow showers, then 1 to 3 inches of snow, and now it's 6 to 15. Hey, pumpkin. Hi. Mwah. I have Bandit. He usually comes in when Mark's filming. At any given second, he's going to turn around. You going to scratch me? You going to scratch me? Will you take a kitty hug? Okay. Yes, Foxy. For everyone who's catching up in real time, I was just keeping up. Somebody was sniping. She went to the mall on a bus or a train, which is very proud making. Of course, she left her mobility device to take up 3 seats. But, yeah, she was filming in the mall. She was just about to get some food, and somebody approached her from security and said, "Yeah, you can't do that in here." Her response, "Was there a sign?" Why would the security guard lie? They don't want you filming in there. And of course, she's indignant as all get out because I should be able to. No, you don't. And other people are getting filmed in the interim. People in the background, well enough that I could describe them. So no, she was asked to leave. I'm never going to that mall again. Some stupid loser ruined it. Nobody called the mall, Chantal. Nobody called the mall. They approached you because you are so conspicuous. I mean, you have a phone camera mounted to the front of your jazzy walk around talking to yourself, and you're befuddled when security says, "Ma'am, could you just take it down a notch here?" When she first got back to Canada, she said she was taking the bus today. She slipped up and said the first time she's taken public transit in years. Rule 1, Rule 2. She gives herself away eventually. Yeah, she automatically assumed that somebody trying to fuck with her life called. Not that the actual mall security was like, "Hey, your behavior is unacceptable." Even if somebody did call, if the rule is the rule, maybe they gave her a little, maybe there was a shove, push to it. But bottom line, if there's a rule and you're breaking it, it doesn't matter if it was some meanie on the internet or Smee. You're breaking a rule. So they brought it to your attention and said, "Please, if you were going to, get out." And then she comes back and goes on this whole rant. How much freedom did you have in the last country you lived in? You know, there was issues of filming things when you were in Kuwait that may have resulted in your deportation. So at any rate, that's what's going on live. But we're going to catch up a little bit from last week. Last week we were talking about the Great Reset. So she was going to go right coinciding with Ramadan coming up. She had what she says was about 3 weeks to get her shit together. And I don't know that she's going to get there. Probably had issues with prank live streamers. Yeah, for any reason or for no reason. Don't film in here. It's interesting that she was going there for content, and they basically said to her, without being streamers, "You can't use this for content. You're going to have to go somewhere else. Goodbye. Go somewhere where people don't mind you, I don't want to say exploit, but there's people in the video who don't know there's a video or don't want to be in it. And I shouldn't be able to really see who they are. You've seen other people eat in public. You've seen they bring it in close. So it's me, you get someone walking by in the background, no big deal. But she has to move the camera so far back because to get her within the parameters, it's got to be like back here. So absolutely private property. And I mean, and what hill is she going to die on? I should be able to film in the mall. Of all the causes that could use a good advocate, I should be allowed to film myself eating in the mall. And if somebody has a problem with it, they must be a hater. No, these are the rules. You can or you can't. I'm sure she was looking around everywhere to see, that guy was filming and they didn't stop him. It's probably because I'm Muslim. Everything is because she's fat or Muslim. It's not because she's ignorant, ill-informed, or rude. It's got to be some shallow reason. No, people hate her deep down. Deep down inside. Yeah, she's not less, conspicuous. She likes the attention, but hates the attention. She wants the chat's attention, but not everyone else's attention who's behind her. So if somebody catches her eye, insert, little giggle. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So, and she didn't get her food. She just left. So all that time she was probably thinking she was going to reward herself with cheese fries. No, I don't think she's fasting. I don't think she is. And she has a doctor's note. She knows whether or not she's full of shit, I hope. But because she has a note to not fast, she thinks she gets extra credit bonus points if she does. No, the reason medically it's not supposed to is you have conditions that are probably not safe to play with that. Or you could have a plan where maybe you could do all those things, but you don't want to go to the doctor. So, she's about to argue with security guards as well. There's a sign. I shouldn't be doing it. She takes her karmic cues from the strangest places. Strangest places. But yeah, she can't fathom that someone outside of girl world might have a problem with that woman over there filming all of us. Unless you're going to cut everybody in, So this week she was, lying about her eating. She had an off-camera sort of binge day, as she described, listing a whole bunch of shit she ate. I had fried chicken, I had this, I had that, and it kept kind of going. And she was giving a whole list of things like that to drive home the fact that she's addicted to food. Addicted to food, eating disorder, or glutton. What are the options of what could be going on with Chantal? I've been spinning those plates since 2018. Is she addicted to food? She's certainly cross-addicted a lot of things. She always needs something. And whatever it is, she needs a little more, or at least more than you. So I have lived a life in addiction, lived a life in recovery. If you're going to say I'm an addict, that's context. Okay, but that doesn't take away from the rest of it. Context is not an excuse. You can't say, the fasting, for example. I can't fast because I'm diabetic, but she thinks she should get bonus points if she does. The whole point, the fasting is the thing. The religious thing is the thing. I don't know. I imagine if you don't eat all day and have nothing to drink, you'd be a little pissed by the end of, you'd feel a little dried out, maybe hungry by the end of the day, but part of the experience of fasting is that it's not a big, giant thing so much. For my family's tradition, because Lent is coming up. So Lent is a season of preparation, atonement, all sorts of fun stuff coming up to Christmas. We were always kids. We'd give up something for Lent, like chocolate or soda, some indulgence, that kind of thing. And we would get rewarded by the Easter Bunny, by presents of those things that we had given up. But back to, away from Easter, the tradition and the line out of the Bible that comes out, or the story, is if you're fasting and if you're doing whatever you are to heighten your relationship with God, don't be like the hypocrites who go out and make a show of it to have everyone see. It's an inside job, this kind of stuff. Film yourself all day not eating. She couldn't do it. She's been eating, but she feels like if she comes, Chantal's take on lying is very interesting. If she comes clean on the lie, she doesn't lose credit for telling it. Like if she said, for example, I had a grilled cheese and tomato and it fell, and instead it was a lumberjack breakfast. She'll admit that she lied. She wants credit for being honest, but she's not hiding because she's embarrassed. She's hiding because the money train will stop, because she's blowing smoke about health all day and changes, and these people are supporting her. And later in the night, she needs them to stay and support her, even if what she's getting excited about isn't necessarily so hot for her, so great for her. So, lying about her eating, addict, eating disorder, or glutton? She lies. But here's what happens though. Chantal will medicalize it. I lied because I'm an addict. Addiction is an illness, and I'm doing my best. So you can't hold it against me because it's something I can't help. It's her get out of life free card, the sick pass that says, well, yeah, I did that, but I wasn't feeling well, so sorry. And by the way, it's only attempted murder. It's not like real murder, okay? No one gets... Could you imagine her in court for a serious crime? She's going to run somebody down in the scooter. What is she going to do if she causes an accident? How's she going to pay for damages? There's no insurance on the scooter, probably. She needs to go to a professional, but none of that's news. She won't go. And she's only an addict when, again, it becomes a medical excuse. Addicts lie. Diagnostically, I have to. She says addict kind of loosely. You know, I don't know that she's ever had a full drug and alcohol evaluation. It would be interesting to hear one if she was telling the truth. But even going to doctors, she's doing impression management. I want to see the doctor for this problem, not that problem. And whatever she comes in with, they probably spend 15 minutes talking about her weight, because no health problem is improved by being morbidly obese, super morbidly obese. There's not one health problem that it's like, you know what, I'm giving up a lot, but at least I'm staying fat for a good reason. There's so many options out there now, too. I'm not saying she should go get shots. Oh, Chantal was the first person I knew, parasocially or otherwise, that got Ozempic. And I've known people that had great success with it. There's also a lot more diets and knowledge about stuff. Like there's, you know, keto and low carb and everything. It's a very exciting time to be fat. So there's a lot of options out there to manage it. I agree, Thunder, but ignorance is no excuse. It's not. It explains it maybe, but doesn't excuse it. That's the difference. And again, Chantal feeling like coming clean on one lie makes her more credible, because I couldn't keep it to myself. I wanted to be honest, so I told everybody. In the next stream, it turns into, I don't want to hear about it. That's why she didn't show it. Not because she's so overcome with feelings of remorse and guilt and how am I going to find my way through this disorder to, I don't want to hear about it, okay? I mean, I want to get paid for it, but I don't want to hear about it. She did when she switched off to going to the mall, which was today. She went with the scooter on transit. I'll give her that. For how anxious she usually is, I'm surprised she went through an activity with so many moving parts. And so she did. But now that she's gone out once, she feels like that's a one and done. See, I've proved that I can leave the house and do this, so I never have to do it again. Now she's threatening to get a job again. What day is it? YouTube pays Monday. Today's the 20th, but well, for us, we get paid on the 21st. It's very predictable. But if the 21st is over a weekend, it's not coming till Monday. So if Saturday was the 21st, like it might be today, because I don't freaking know, then the money would be there. But that's YouTube. On Kick, she's dealing with a different pay system. It's more frequent weekly pay. That's why you have her sitting online for 9, 10, 11 hours. And I gotta say, working a 10-hour day is tough, no matter what the field is. But playing Truman Show for 8 hours, I mean, if I just brought you guys around and we did nothing all day, it'd be fun once in a while to see what the home life is like. But yes, Jamie, accountability, requesting accountability, she wants it from the people who are going to say, oh, honey, it's okay. You tried, and that's all that matters. It's not all that matters. She's lived more life than she has ahead of her, even if she was a healthy person. So, you know, what's your life worth to you? I think she thinks quality of life. She thinks, you know, she's being very whimsical and brave. It's reckless. It's not the same thing. You're not going out taking chances and living your life. It's, fuck it, I don't care what happens. So, and she doesn't want to hear about it. She wants to binge in peace. And I get it, you know, totally. I don't want an audience if I'm having a food moment. But I'm also can appreciate that my chat is full of people that we talk about similar interests and maybe share stories and stuff like that. But the onus is not on you guys to fix my problem and fix it by telling me I didn't do anything wrong. I don't need accountability. I need ass kissers. If you don't need one, you want the other. So Tracy had a little accountability and got smacked down. So how many times a day do you eat, Tracy? So even with the eating she's doing, and she mentioned in passing, Mark. Mark's here. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, buddy.
He's whispering.
I didn't want to bother you.
No bother. You guys know Mark, right?
Hello. I live. I haven't seen you in a while.
I was doing my foodie homework. Quick passing thought about foodie?
Yeah.
You want to share?
Oh,
I was doing all my homework today, and Mark was unfortunately in the background.
Yeah, no, I'm like, this new kind of, one thing I'm pet peeve
Yeah.
is this new addiction kind of arc she's throwing on here,
Yeah.
like that she
That's
can't be
it's a
held
doctor's note for
responsible.
lying.
It is.
That's
it
what she
is.
is.
I'm just tired of her exploiting that type of thing because
Well-
we work in the field, and it actually hurts people who legitimately
Yeah.
experience these things,
Mhm.
and also she's like exploiting a disease
Mhm.
for attention
For
and
attention
for
and money.
And I just don't feel. I'm sorry. I guess I could be here.
Mark feels she's a person of very low quality.
I do.
He
And
coined
I
that
feel
early
bad,
on.
but I
Yeah.
do. I do.
Well,
FB.
well, thank you for joining us, Mark.
LQ.
Put a 1 in the chat if you want Mark to sit in on one of these Foodie Beauty lives or a Foodie Beauty recorded video. We haven't had Mark in years,
For
maybe a couple
Foodie?
times for Foodie. And he has, strong feelings about that.
If-
So
I don't
one,
know.
one.
All
So-
right, if you get a 1 or 2, I'll do it.
How about a dozen of them? People are putting 1 a few times.
Oh.
So we're gonna put in that we're gonna have Mark sit down either for
All
part of a
right.
live or
All
part of a recorded video so he can share his current thoughts about Foodie.
All right,
That's a lot of 1s in the chat.
Oh,
You better make
goodness.
notes now.
All right, I'll do it. I promise.
All right.
Here we
All
go. Pinky. No wait, your pinky promise is not a good one, or a good one.
It
Yes.
is.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise, good. Pinky
All
ray
right.
is not good.
I will be there next time.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Because I don't want to be like manipulative, but I leveraged your guys' want to have him on to do it in front of his face, so it reassures him that that's a part of the channel. We've been doing these for years with Foodie, and so there's older videos that have 8, 9, 10,000 views. They were more popular initially when they came out, but the biggest part of our library is her. Mark's views are interesting because Mark has an actual disability that he tries to carve a life around. And while her health problems are by and large self-induced, as someone who's lived in addict kind of lifestyle, it still hurts. Even when you cause all your own problems, it still hurts and it still feels lonely. Now, people don't feel sympathetic because you fucked up your own life, or I fucked up my own life. We'll say me, I'm Steve. We'll stick to me and what I did. So people aren't super sympathetic, and they also don't get their hopes up after 2 days. No matter how good a game you talk, how good a plan you have, people and your body are going to judge you by your actions. You're not going to lose 200 pounds in a year just because a year passes. It's good to have reasonable goals, but maintaining being 200 to 250 pounds overweight for your entire adult life does not demonstrate a willingness to change at all. So, broken, yes, it's unforgivable. We're here. I'm good. We're fine. So the addict life. Addicts who are in motion, people who have substance use disorders, whatever the drug of choice is, there has to be a break in it. And a lot of time people are, how can I put this diplomatically? People need to be taken out of their current situation to go address the change in a safe place. Like, rehab doesn't fix people, drug and alcohol rehab, but you do find yourself in a place where there's access to therapists, access to peers who are also going through the same sort of things, so you can share experience. You might see a nutritionist, a psychiatrist to see if there's any co-occurring issues. She would never. You don't have unrestricted access to snacks in a rehab. And rehabs now, some of them don't do the whole, get them in there, fatten them up, and get their weight back up and the health on them, then kick them back into the world. It's very different. She wouldn't benefit from an inpatient psychiatric stay. She's not unsafe. She just doesn't like her life. She doesn't like that cheese makes you fat. And so she ate all the cheese, and instead of being mad at herself, she's mad that no one's fixing the problem that she caused fast enough. Urgent is urgent when she's like, I don't want to see I want to see a male doctor. I know that. So put it off until it's an emergency. Go to the emergency room. I don't know. Yeah, she would waste the time and resources of a lot of people. I mean, if she was actually ready to change, that's one thing. But this stages of change where she's all still up here deciding whether or not she's going to make a move, She put so much weight since returning. Now she's running at 8 pounds, gaining 8 pounds every week. She came clean that she was bigger. Big news, tear out the front page. She weighed more than when she got there. If this is for Sala, he ain't gonna be happy. I'm sure she's on the phone with him right now. Excuse me, if I remember correctly, you asked me to get this fat. We all have bad, all she had to do was delete the live. So, let's see. Her no-fault excuse, addicts lie, which means I have a medical condition that makes me dishonest. She's fucking unreal. So, it doesn't make it okay. It just makes it common. It's a common one. But part of getting into a life, you don't have to use the word recovery, call it whatever you want. Part of getting into that, though, is owning up to our bullshit. I own up to my bullshit, take responsibility for it, and then the most thing people want to see is change. When a person says they're changing, they want to see at least little bits of it. Also, depending on how bad I've burned somebody, they might, like my parents probably wanted years of me doing well before they felt kind of okay to they were hesitantly good. But right at the beginning of getting well, I used to get sick just like Chantal. Anytime that things got too real or too hot, or I wanted to get the attention off of me or the attention on me, depending on what it was for, I would have, medical type concerns. And I needed the help, but I was wasting their time. I wasn't really ready then either. She rages at those who provide the accountability. Yes, Booze, you're absolutely right. 10 years, I would say it's about right for me, because it was 2012, and then again, so it was, there's stuff in there. But even if she, for example, even if I was doing well and had a slip up into either my drug of choice or others, my drug of choice was not alcohol, but that's the one I could get most easily. Out of my head, out of myself, out of my head, out of myself. That was the goal for all addiction. Let me stop thinking about all this other stuff and just give me a little peace and quiet. It started to feel like it was the only thing I did for myself that was nice. Stephen, I'm concerned with how you're feeling. I know you're anxious. Just do a couple of bottle shots on the subway. And by the time you get to work, by the way, that doesn't work. Doesn't work. But if you're in the direction of recovery, like if she's screwing up, but trying and doing what she can with the research she has, and then eventually maybe asks for a little help, she's not humble enough to do that, and she needs it. She's too arrogant to ask for the help she needs. She has moments of it, like get me a wheelchair at the airport, that, but these little lies that she tells, that little bit of disclosure is supposed to make you think that she's being sincere, that she was lying and was so conflicted about it that she came forward. The woman's living 1,000 lies at any given time. It doesn't behoove her to get recreationally in any sort of mood, like, the edibles or whatever, because she'll just talk. She already ruined the Malaysian vacation by her birthday trip by talking about it. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not optimistic. She's gotten worse fast since she's been back in Canada. I bet if you put a pedometer on her, she hasn't walked more than 10,000 steps since she landed. She's out and about and she's being social, but she's not being social. There's people everywhere. She's talking to the chat. Like they're not there. And if anyone breaks that little bubble of like, ma'am, are you filming? She looks rude, like she's been interrupted, like she's having an actual conversation with someone. And meanwhile, the cat is home. No cone. Running all over the place, no vest. She decided it wasn't necessary. So she didn't do it. It doesn't matter. Now, if it was for her and her condition, my God, she'd have it on. She'd have a live stream so you could send pity chats. Like, it'd be different. The cat needs a safe place to recover. Chantal's not attentive enough. The cat could be behind her starving and she wouldn't notice because somebody said something in the chat that might have upset Teardrop, and then the gravy train stops. So, I agree, Foxy. She couldn't navigate the mall, so I don't see her. And was she going to get on a plane with her scooter? She's not going to suddenly be able to walk a whole lot more when she gets to Malaysia. And I think there's hills. Where there's volcanoes, there's probably hills. So that as well needs to kind of be taken into account. She's going to get there and walk all over the place. It'll be curious to see if something happens, what their relationship looks like after couple, 2, 3, 4 months off, and with him being in touch with her on the hope of future income, unless they're in love. But I wouldn't want to be in love if that's what it looked like. They don't look like two people that like each other. It looks like they're stuck together. If Mark and I start sitting here looking like we're stuck together, maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to let go. But who's to say? Who's to say? I'm really putting myself out there, so I deserve credit for revealing lies. But she doesn't apologize for the lie. She just apologizes for being in that sort of condition. 20 minutes on the treadmill. What did she burn? It was 36 calories. Well, that's what she'll do if she's going to Rosella. She'll sit in the hotel and sleep. And eat and order food. And nothing that she couldn't do at home. You know, when she says, she was talking about people when she had to leave the mall just within the last bit of time when she was streaming, that people ruin things, that people are this. What about breaking the rules of the place where you are? Constantly pointing out, well, what about is a very telling bit of how she processes things. Hold on, let me decide if this is my fault. It's not my fault, there was no sign. So I can bitch and piss and moan all the way home. Do something else. You love filming yourself. Film yourself. Maybe other people don't care to be. And again, is this the hill she's gonna die on? That she thinks she should be able to do X, Y, and Z? No. So, lying when someone's an ad is expected, depending on where they're at in it, but it doesn't make it okay. Maybe that's the better way to put it. She thinks that's all online hate. No, people hate you in real life, too. It's conspicuous. It's not like she had her phone down, was talking, you know. Yeah, the 7-Eleven food is totally different in Malaysia. It's so fresh. Everything is so fresh. He's gonna ditch her so fast if they get there, because like a lot of people, I think, when you're in a place where you've never been or you don't go often, you want to see the sights. You don't just want to travel the town culinarily by just ordering food to the room. Couldn't be her. Couldn't possibly be her. Nope. It's every other man she's ever met and everyone who's watching. Not her. Not her. Her behavior is perfectly normal and the rest of us are completely insane. That's a good working definition of insanity. So now, with Ramadan being Ramadan and coming up, and her part of Ramadan being the fast that goes on. Now, she could sleep through most of the day, and she does. You know, as soon as she's eating right up until the sun comes up, and then sleeping right up until the sun goes down. But that doesn't mean binge. My only experience, and it's secondhand, with folks who were Muslim when I was in college, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I was the vice president, co-leader, whatever, of the Gay and Lesbian Student Union where I went to school. So we all had offices in the student center. So there was one for the math club, one for people who were on the campus radio station. They were on one side of us. We had an office, and then next to us was the Muslim student group. During Ramadan, which totally off my radar because I was a lapsed Catholic and it never came up. I didn't have any Muslim friends and I didn't have any budding curiosity. But when it was shown, I was like, oh, cool. Okay, so that's what Ramadan is. All right. She framed, like, I know restaurants open later and they eat later. Every evening, about 20 people would come in and they'd pray and then they would eat. And they'd offer us food, which was very, very nice of them. But nobody was like packing it in because I gotta hold myself out till tomorrow. You know, Chantal's always awake in the dark. 3 o'clock in the morning, she wants something to eat. If it was based around her sleep schedule, she'd never live. If she had to be awake and alert for 8 hours, like let's say she had to work a job or attend school during that time, and she wants credit even though she's not really doing it. Like, Milk Tea, for example, who I like watching, has lived in the Middle East and said that during Ramadan, as a respect and a courtesy, even though the students are Muslim and it's a Muslim country, she's not going to be drinking water or publicly eating in front of them That's a matter of respect for the people. I don't really care what Ramadan's about, but for the people practicing who all they want is to just, kind of be left alone to worship in their own time. Charlotte and Tall, I had the suggestion of her maybe putting the call to prayer on her phone so there's alerts. She's going to have to remember to stop and start again sometime so people think she stopped the camera so she could pray. I would drop the fuck dead if I thought she was praying for anyone other than herself. But she's not bound by the rules of Ramadan because of her health conditions, so she doesn't really have to fast at all. So any amount of fasting she does, she thinks she should get bonus points for. Addicts who are in the throes of addiction hide it. Now she's trying to say she's lying because she's ashamed. This woman doesn't know about shame, dignity, pride, none of that stuff. But you're supposed to feel like, oh, she didn't feel like she could tell us. How brave of her to make such a disclosure. It's not news to anyone watching. It's interesting that she's just catching up to everybody, But when the chat tells her she's brave, what did she do? Run into a burning building? Take down a hijacker? Brave for what? Getting on the train? If you're working with someone who's like having a hard time managing their life, and I don't just mean their physical health, I mean mental and social and family and all sorts of other stuff, you could use some help from that. And there's medical resources available in the US. Like I work with folks who have mental health concerns, and a lot of them are on disability. So they'll have either a representative payee, so their government check comes to an agency or a person, and then they are responsible for spending it on the person's behalf. That's one way that people have some money coming in. Brave to ride my... I'm very brave. I'm wearing glasses right now. It's a disability, okay? So yeah. At any rate. So, binging after dark or when you're going to eat in the evening, she doesn't know how to eat otherwise. Like, if she has a snack now, she might as well have just had a cup of sugar because it's all calories and she's going to go get what she wants to eat anyway. It's not a lie if no one can prove it. She doesn't live in truth. She lives in you can't catch me lying. I'm so brave. So brave. I can't believe... See, people just don't understand. When you've lived in another country, when you've seen more of the world... I don't know. But let's see what else. All lies are expected but not acceptable. Like if Mark had relapsed, I expect... Full disclosure, erratic stuff. Because Mark and I have a history of addiction. Addiction is a high relapsing kind of illness. But if he was going to start using, I would assume, right or wrong, I would assume he'd probably lie to me about it for at least a week or two. And so there's going to be an uncomfortable period where he knows he's relapsed. I know he's relapsed, but ego is still in the way and can't say, I relapsed. Can you help? I relapsed. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Can we get out of this? That kind of thing. So it's a little bit different. If the direction is still recovery, health, wellness, all that stuff, and a person has a setback, that's fine. But call it a setback. She doesn't. The second she takes the last bite, it wasn't even that big of a fry, okay? And the meat looked lean on the cheesesteak. So, whatever, okay? Who cares if it's kosher? Not kosher, God. Who cares if it's halal? Recovering opiate addict. Congratulations, unicorn. She does self-pity particularly well, too. And she draws that in. Pity was described to me once by someone who was interested as the lowest form of energy in the universe. When you want attention and all you can get is pity for your situation, not accolades for a job well done, not love and warmth and compassion if you're going through a hard time. None of it. So, where else do we... I had my clipboard this time. That's how freaking long it was. If she lied once, she'll lie again. Okay? Enjoy work, Mr. McBeats. Because she does. She'll say, when did I ever? No, I didn't ever. She's going to hold up this one time about saying, it wasn't really grilled cheese, it was nachos. I didn't have bread slathered in butter stuffed with cheese. I just had deep-fried corn chips smothered in cheese. You'd probably be better off. It's not what the lie's about. It's the lying. It's the face saving. Like, she's doing well on her health journey as long as no one sees anything that proves otherwise. She makes an interesting case in all of her situations. Anytime someone gets a little too close to the truth for her, you don't know what's going on off camera. She wanted credit for eating less than a binge, because normally I would eat a whole lot. Okay, so this is incredible. You don't have time for baby steps. You're going to die. No time for it. No time. And people aren't going to be sympathetic. She's not the only large person on YouTube trying to lose weight and screwing it up, but her primary goal is drama. It's not losing weight. It creates discussion. People have strong feelings about it, so she brings it up for activity and whatnot. It's not news that she's big, but she thinks it's not holding her back in any area of her life, whether it's socially, romantically. I mean, she's married, I guess. Who gets custody of the scooter if they get a divorce, though? She would lie about the animals. She's lied just to save face when it's convenient. Just because no reason. She just mixes up so much and is surprised when people think she's untrustworthy. What it's going to turn into is, oh God, for Christ's sake, I lied about a grilled cheese sandwich one time. Oh my God, I'm a horrible person. It's part of a bigger picture. It's part of a bigger, I don't owe you people anything. And so if I want to just tell you whatever I want to tell you and say that that's the truth, fine. You don't like it, don't watch. Now, she's averaging, from what I'm watching when she's on Kick, about 200 people at a time who are present. When she went to the store and got told to stop filming, she was up to about 3 or so. Then she left and went home riding the whole way, seeing if the scooter could make it at this point. So, I don't know. Her thinking is that, she's not that close to death, so people are just making a big deal out of nothing. And that's going to come back to her. If it's true, then she can show us all that she was right. But she's been saying since 2018, you know what, I'm just going to do my mukbangs, do what I want to do, and if you see me losing weight sometime, well, then you'll know how it's going. If you're not losing weight for 7 years, can we also know how it's going? Or speculate? It's not unreasonable to, if a person eats a lot and they gain a lot of weight, these things aren't like maybe connected. They are connected. They are connected, and honest to God, her weight's the least of her problems. It's the most immediately deadly, but she's got other physical problems. If she got her mental health in a better space, I think she wouldn't feel so overwhelmed by the health problems that she has accumulated over the years. I ordered an extra Big Mac. I got ice cream. I didn't usually like sweets, so I only got this one in XYZ fudge. Food is probably her first drug of choice. I could say it was mine. I couldn't reach the liquor cabinet, but I could reach the fridge, and it was a way to eat and enjoy, and it was something nobody else could take away from me, and something I was doing for me. When you start to view self-injury of sorts as self-love, that doesn't work like that. She probably feels like she's catering to and nurturing herself when she eats, but I know the voice. It switches over when you're done. And when she feels antsy or angry after that, which she generally does, takes her sugar, is surprised by the results, and then gets mad about something. We've been watching Foodie a long time. A lot of us have been around for a long time. And she's the same 350 to 400 she's always been. She dropped down into the 330s, and you visibly could see a difference. She was probably 80 pounds thinner than she was now. And most of it came out of her stomach, because that's where she carries all the weight. Women often, but not always, will just do chest, butt, thighs is where everything goes. But when the body becomes so engrossed in fat, a woman might lose the figure and store it like a guy in the stomach. So yeah, she doesn't. I mean, she does need another hobby other than, shoveling snow. She needs something a little bit hopefully different to do. Coming up, related, unrelated, Amberlynn Reid is putting some stuff back on YouTube. Her monetization application to reapply for it was supposed to be around this area. Chantal lost her channel not too far away from where Amber did. So I'm curious to see what direction YouTube takes in saying, oh, back. Spent her time crocheting. Yeah, right. My mom can make a whole Afghan in like an afternoon. That's crocheting. I tried to learn to crochet. It's hard. I'm not mad at Foodie if she didn't. Even with an instructor, it was hard. I just kept making these long, like hair extension looking things. I couldn't make that turn after doing a chain to come back and go the other way. It's a nice thing to say. I'm going to take up crocheting. I got all these hooks, and then the Beezers will send her things that she can sew for her, knit for herself. She's not going to be able to do it. She'll buy something crocheted and say she did it, because that's textbook Chantal. But otherwise, not so much. Not optimistic about her traveling, of course. You couldn't drink Diet Cola when you got diagnosed pre-diabetic or a few years back. The first thing I did was give up sodas. I think it's a really smart move. I know my dad gave up sugared soda. And he was diagnosed type 2. And I think he got it under control within like 6 to 18 months. He didn't need to lose 250 pounds. My dad always had a bit of a belly, but he was never like super morbidly obese, never needed a scooter, never needed a cane, and now my parents are in their 70s and they still don't need those things. Mom's getting her knee replaced next month, I think. So that'll be maybe a reason to visit my parents a little more often, see if they need help or visit or anything like that, because they usually come once a week on the weekends. But tomorrow we're getting insane amounts of snow starting at 1. The predictions are only getting higher and higher and higher here. So I think I'll leave it there because I don't want to just talk in circles. Let me check in with you guys in the chat. I live on diet soda. Sparkling water I'll get, or seltzer, and I'll kind of have it. But so where's the rest of her day go? She's going to blame the problem at the mall on somebody else because, hey, Chantal Gucci, how are you? She's going to end up blaming it on somebody else. Somebody called, somebody did this, somebody did that. It's you. If there's no there, then somebody calling just to make trouble, it's no thing. If someone called and said there's this person filming everybody and security comes up and you're filming everybody, I wouldn't be that messenger myself, but maybe, so I don't know. It is nice. Thanks, Cindy. It's nice to be here. So, we're going to leave it there for today. What about 45 minutes? And see if there's anything new coming up. I usually just check in Sundays. So if something happens, I'll be snowed in. So if she's dealing with the snow also, maybe we'll pop on for a little talk, or I'll see if I can drag Mark out to here for it. So thank you all for being here. 130 plus in the room. That's a bigger size for us. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you mods. Thank you lurkers. Oh, you live in her town. I see. Well, front row seats, I guess. I don't know. I don't know when I would ever run into Chantal. I don't go to Canada much, so. Thank you guys for being here. Please do subscribe. And also, if you feel inclined, we have memberships available, $2.99 a month. We do some member lives, member posts, stuff like that. So if you're interested, that's available. Please hit the thumbs up also if you'd be so inclined on your way out. I love doing the foodie videos. They are an opportunity to play with things. Oh, you're new. Well, welcome, Chantal. Welcome. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, notification bell, get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, all that fun stuff. All our contact info is below as well. So thank you, and we'll catch up with you very soon. We will see. Y'all are nice. Good content, good talk, good mods, good people. So I don't know if I've ever shut off a live from this channel where I was like, oh, thank God that's over. I was holding this live the whole time. Not so much. So thank you guys, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. He's outside. Bye from Mark.